Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salamu ala sayyidil anbiya'i wal mursaleen, wa ba'd. Ants are a very interesting creature. You'll see an ant and you'll think that they're very small and insignificant. But at times you'll think they're very dangerous. To give you an example, if you've ever stepped on an ant hill and they're filled with fire ants and they get onto your foot, you start jumping and screaming in pain because of how much pain they cause. But at the same time, when you're passing by your garden and you just see one small ant, so small it's like a speck of dust, you don't give it any thought. It's interesting that in Surah Al-Zilzal, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks about our actions and He gives an analogy by saying, فَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ خَيْرًا يَرَى وَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ شَرًّا يَرَى. That whoever does a mithqal of a dharra, which I'll translate in a moment, of good, they will see it. And if you've done an equal measure of bad, on the day of judgment, you will be taken to account for that as well. Now, what is dharra? And what is mithqal dharra? There are multiple explanations, but a number of tafasir, they say, وَزْنُ نَمْلَةٍ صَغِيرًا. It is the weight of a very, very tiny ant. So if I do something good that is the size of a tiny ant, I will see it on the day of judgment. When I think about the analogy of an ant, multiple things come to my mind. One you can say is insignificance, that it's so small. I'm walking by, I see some dirt in the masjid, I pick it up and I put it in my pocket and I throw it away. Very small. But what else do we learn from an ant? That like the fire ant, when they accumulate and they become large, they're a force to be reckoned with. I would rather get stung by any other insect than an army of fire ants. If anybody has experience with fire ants, it's not a pleasant experience. So likewise, our good deeds, even though they're a speck like an ant, once they accumulate, they gather so much weight that on the day of judgment, they will hold more weight. So the analogy of seeing a speck of dust, though it tells us don't trivialize anything, it also teaches us that when they begin to accumulate, they can be a large amount as well. And this is true for the wrong that we do. Allah says, يَعْلَمُ خَائِنَةَ الْأَعْيُنِ وَمَا تُخْفِي الصُّدُورِ. Even what the sneaky eye catches. You know, sometimes we're walking in the, Walmart and, you're keeping your gaze focused. You're with your spouse, you're like, you know what, I'm going to make sure my gaze is not going to travel anywhere. Obviously out of fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but out of other fear as well. And you're carrying on. Then all of a sudden somebody passes by and you think nobody's looking, you just look from the corner of your eye. And you just look back. And you're like, oh, nobody's looking. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, يَعْلَمُ خَائِنَةَ الْأَعْيُنِ. Even when your eye just turns for 1 second, you can tell yourself, yeah, it was by accident. But no, nobody looks from the corner of their eye by accident. So you look from the corner, Allah says, I know that. Then Allah takes it a step further. He says, وَمَا تُخْفِي الصُّدُورِ. Forget about the movement of the eye. Even the thought that crosses your mind. You may not be sinful for the thought, but Allah is aware of it. So the summary is, as they say in English, take care of the pennies and the dollars will take care of themselves. In Urdu, they say, qatra qatra se darya banta hai. Like with small, small drops, eventually you'll have a flood. In Arabic, there are hundreds of different phrases that imply the same thing. But the idea is, let's not forget sight of the small things, lest they accumulate into something larger. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us tawfiq to practice on what has been said. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. Inshallah, after the remaining sunan, we'll have our weekly hadith session. Everyone is requested to participate.